Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the new Marvel Legends Iceman, part of the Marvel 80 Years Retro Uncanny X-Men carded figure batch of figures. And Iceman's one of my favorite X-Men characters, always has been. I don't know why, maybe because he's just white and blue, typically speaking, except for this figure, which is a problem. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's just, I've always liked him. It's a cool character design, no pun intended. I intended it a little bit. But we haven't had a whole lot of good figures of Iceman, surprisingly. For such a simple design, you'd think we'd have more. They had a decent one with the last release of him, and some pretty off ones prior to that. Some that looked like cereal milk, some that looked like, well, all kinds of different things. And this one is one that I thought was looking pretty good in the images, and then once I got it, I was kind of like, I don't know. So we're going to kind of address that while we go through the review. It's kind of cool and kind of bad at the same time. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands about 6¼ inches, which makes him just about 16 centimeters. So he is kind of short relative to the other characters, but I think that's probably okay for Iceman. I don't think he needs to be very large. And now we have a debate to address. Is this figure supposed to look like the original figure that came on that kind of packaging, or is he supposed to look like the character drawn on the packaging? Some people will argue one way, some people will argue the other. And I will argue either one, but pick one. This one doesn't do either of those things, and that's what bothers me about it. I like the idea they had to give him this kind of pearly, translucent plastic. That makes sense. However, the original figure was clear, like almost completely clear, and he did have the white painted belt, so I'm thinking that's what they were aiming for. However, Iceman's almost never clear. Like, he's almost exclusively drawn to be white and blue. Sometimes very blue, sometimes a little bit more white, but almost exclusively white and blue. In fact, this would have been a good approximation because it's like a pearly, bluish, whitish color, which looks awesome. This has zero color to it at all. It's completely whitish, grayish, grayscale pearl. So I get that they are kind of hinting at the original release, but it's not right, and it also doesn't match what Iceman normally looks like, so I don't know how to feel about it. It's kind of a cool look, but also ice is almost always blue if it has any hue to it at all. It's either clear or blue, just like the sky is blue, or water looks blue. Ice usually looks blue too. Look up polar ice caps or something like that. This isn't quite right, but it still kind of looks cool, so I don't know how to feel about it. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. It looks, honestly, like if you squint, it looks like Silver Surfer. It's not really what Iceman looks like, so I kind of don't like it, but I still kind of do. So I'm kind of torn. I don't really know what to say about it. So aesthetics wise, okay, hold on. Before we get to that, I'm getting ahead of myself. The belt is painted extremely well. I know it's a basic belt, but look how clean that X is. I love that. Little details make a big difference. And now let's talk about the head. His head is weird. I get that they make Iceman kind of angular sometimes, but his body isn't angular at all, so it doesn't really make sense for his head to be. But his eyes are very narrow, his nose is very short and upturned, so he's got kind and a big sticking out chin that's very boxy and sunken in cheekbones. He looks weird. He looks really, really weird. He almost looks like a skull with eyes, and then of course the nose part. I don't know, it's very strange. I don't care for that sculpt. I don't think he really ever looks like that. So it's a really odd sculpt. It's not something that's super gonna stand out, but it is something to mention. So I'm very torn on this guy. The aesthetics are kind of weird. I don't know. I'm gonna go, let's do this. What would you guys rate the aesthetics? I want to know what you guys have as far as your opinions go, because this one's a very subjective thing, because it's definitely not objectively right, but still, as far as I'm concerned, looks subjectively kind of cool. I'm very torn, so I'm gonna leave that with a question mark. You guys can let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, this figure kind of pointed out one thing that I've never really noticed before on this mold, at least I don't think. He's got very wide waist area. Very wide waist area, like his hips go here, and then his upper hip, like his pelvis bone sticks out really wide. Looks kind of funny, especially with the belt on there, but whatever. Okay, onto the accessories. We get his ice sled, which is the right color, but it's very small, and it's not really a sled. He only has one peg hole, and it just looks weird. I love the sled, but with the figure, I don't like it. So his ice sleds almost always match him, like almost always. And this doesn't, so I don't care for that. And that kind of hurts the aesthetics as well, so I don't know, guys. I think he should have just looked like this. Very strange release as far as I'm concerned. It's not an easy one to review. Okay, so accessories, kind of good, kind of bad. He doesn't, 5 out of 10. I don't know, 5 out of 10. All right, as far as, and I get, by the way, I had the original figure, so you don't have to say, I know a lot of you are thinking, but he had this sled in the first one and it didn't match. Yeah, I get it, but this still doesn't match the original release either, because the original one was solid blue plastic that you poured ice in, or water in. So, like I said, pick one. If you want it to be like the original figure, fine. If you don't, then we have to adjust that too. Okay, articulation-wise, we've seen it all before, but we'll do it again. Head goes all the way back, head goes all the way forward. It's fairly lollipop-ish. Not great, but it's not too bad. From the front, it's fine. Looks okay. God, he's got a square boxy top of his head. It's like they try stylized things but don't really know how to do it and then say, F it. I'm not going to change it. It's good enough. But it does rotate, and you do get a lot of attitude because of that lollipop. For the shoulders, we have a really nice butterfly joint, though the butterfly part doesn't quite match the rest of the plastic. So that looks pretty weird. Shoulders kind of match the butterfly, but the rest of it doesn't really. Bicep swivel, wow. Arms rotate very nicely. Bicep swivel is fine. They do go out to the side perfectly well, better than horizontal. There's the bicep swivel, that's fine. Double jointed elbow works pretty well, though it's not the best one we've seen. Wrists, swivel, and hinge. White plastic for the wrists and the shoulders, by the way. Ab crunch goes back, it goes forward. It looks good enough going forward. Goes back, gives him a pregnant belly, so be aware of that. Looks like something's coming out of that. Waist swivel is fine, belt is flexible and floaty. Hips do go pretty far forward, though they kick out to the side a good deal. They go back a tiny bit. Going out to the side is not great. It's about 45 degrees. Thigh swivel is in there. Mine was stuck, be careful with that. Double jointed knees work nicely. Shin swivel is there, and it's the best sculpted one they've ever done. We've seen that before. Ankles go all the way back and pretty far forward. Feet are probably too big, but they do have good ankles. Really nice ankle rocker. So ultimately, the articulation on this guy is not bad at all. Give it an 8 out of 10. And it's time for the final verdict. I am perplexed by this figure. It doesn't look like what it should look like, but I kind of like it. So objectively, I want to say it's bad. Subjectively, I kind of want to say it's good. But at the same time, I don't, because I want it to look like this. And it should look like this, or it should be clear. I don't know. This one is a doozy. It's a weird one. And then the head sculpt is just, like, Iceman's always been, like, traditionally, classically good looking. That's just the way he's been. And this guy's got a little weasel face, kind of, with a pinched in nose. So a weasel face with no nose. I don't know. It's just a weird ass release. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I really don't know how to rate this guy. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give him a 7 because if it was bad, if it was like purely bad, I would be able to say so more clearly. So I'll give him a 7, I guess, or a 6. I don't know. You guys let me know what you would rate him for the two different things, the final verdict and for the aesthetic. I am very curious what you guys think. So there it is. That was a interesting review. I don't know if I've ever had one so strange before. Well, either way. Thanks for watching, guys. If you made it this far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up because you clearly at least liked it a little bit. And if you made it this far out of pure hatred and spite, well, then go ahead and give it a thumbs down. That's okay, too. If you haven't subscribed, you might want to do it. I have thousands of videos already on the channel and new ones coming out just about every single day. So make sure you come back for that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.